Hey, Pollock 14. What's up? Sorry if I kept you guys waiting at all. Hopefully, didn't keep you waiting for too long. It just took me a little bit longer to get here than I thought. And actually went down by the river and shot another little video for later this week. I hope you guys are enjoying this accidental death series. It's actually pretty fun to do the research, and it's been fun to actually put the videos together for you guys to enjoy. So I'm gonna wait for a few more folks to get in here. Looks like there's one person here right now. This is one of my favorite sections of the cemetery here in Midland. I come here a lot, and right here's some of my ancestors. If you guys are getting too much wind, let me know. If not, just give me a thumbs up, I guess. This is my great grandfather, great grandparents, Albert and Frederic. Here's a stone that I want to fix this coming year if I have some time. This is one that I worked on right here. This is the soldier section here. I think here's one that you guys have seen that one before. It's kind of dingy, but well, that's what happens, I guess. Maybe need to get a group effort together for the soldier section this year, maybe. That might be a good idea. 2 people, is that all we're gonna get? Did you guys actually get notifications for the live? I did it about an hour and 10 minutes before I wanted to go live, so I was hoping that people would get notifications. Maybe. Well, I decided to do a live stream because I thought maybe we'd get a little bit of interaction on this one, but looks like 2 people and nobody chatting. Well, no, there's 3. There's another person. Just waiting a minute or two to see if we get some more people in here, and I'll tell you the story about this particular location. I just went downtown along the river and did you got a notification? Good. I just went downtown along the river and did a recording. Someone that got run over by a rail car back in 1898, and that one's going to be really cool. I'm going to go film the other half of that after this, and I'll probably release that next week or something like that. So, the Irish Collector, what's up? Cool. Got a couple people in here anyways. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead with it anyways. Let me get this camera flipped around and we'll go about it here. Okay. So, right here is the grave of Mary, or Martha, sorry. I got too many names jumping around in this head of mine. Martha Smith and John Smith. And they're pretty nasty looking, pretty dirty. I actually think I cleaned this one and that one. while back. But, so the story here is that Martha passed away, and let's see, this is 1908. She passed away in Flint, and John came up on the train with the body of his wife from Flint, and they were set out to have a funeral. And all the people were here, and they were waiting for the body to come on the carriage. And Mr. Smith was standing here, and when the carriage made the turn into the cemetery here, he was standing with some other folks, and he saw the carriage turn in, and he collapsed. And just so happened he collapsed. Somebody was standing right there, and they tried to wake him up, and he was dead right here in the cemetery. They actually, believe it or not, held a double funeral. I don't know if they got someone to pronounce him dead, a doctor or a coroner or something, but the story here in the newspaper says, arriving on the early morning train from Flint Monday, J.S. Smith accompanied the body of his wife, which was to be buried in the Midland Cemetery that morning. The body was left at the undertaking rooms preparatory for the services at the church, and Mr. Smith went to the home of his daughter, Mrs. H.D. Hicks, in the First Ward, which the First Ward is where I've been filming a lot of my videos earlier this week. It's down by that baseball field, is what they called the First Ward. That all used to be big neighborhoods down in there. About 9:30, as the carriage appeared around the corner near the home, Mr. Smith sat in the yard speaking to one of his granddaughters. As he bent to kiss her, he fell back into his chair dead. Okay, so this newspaper tells the story a little bit differently than the other newspaper that I read. This is the Midland Republican, and there was another newspaper in this area called the Midland Sun. I find a lot of discrepancies between the two papers pretty often. The scene that ensued at the home was particularly touching. This second sad blow to the family, coming so suddenly, seemed almost unbearable. The funeral, which was to have taken place in a half hour, was postponed to the next day. Mr. and Mrs. J.S. Smith were both well along in years, being 80 years of age and 77. So she was 77 and he was 80. She suddenly died last Friday as a result of a fall sustained 2 weeks before, when she struck her head, rendering her helpless until the time of her death. Mrs. Smith was born in the parish of Boughton, Wiltshire County, England, and Mr. Smith, a native of New York State, was born in Seneca Falls. They had been married 57 years and were blessed with 5 children, 13 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandchildren. They are both well known by the older people of Midland, they having lived here 17 years up to 3 years ago when they moved to Flint to live with a daughter. The double funeral was held Tuesday afternoon at the Methodist Church. The church was crowded to the limit with relatives and old friends of the deceased. 5 children, Webb Smith, Mrs. G.W. Smith, both of Flint, Albert of Beaverton, Edward of Corona, and Mrs. H.D. Hicks of this city were present at the funeral. And then it goes on to list a couple other relatives that were there. We just jumped in to say hi. Well, hello. Yeah, so pretty interesting. Sorry. I've noticed that twice now. The story I did on Mary and Bud had quite a bit of difference as far as the story goes. I don't know if it's just reporting styles or maybe they heard the facts or they heard the story from someone else before they wrote it. But It's very interesting that the one story reads that he was standing here at the cemetery and collapsed here, and then the other story says that he was at the home of his daughter, which I believe that a little bit more than having him be here, collapsing here. So pretty interesting. But yeah, I wish I would have known that, because I would have figured out where she lived, and I could have gone to the home and filmed a little bit at the home. Would have been kind of cool. But that's the story of the double funeral of Martha and John Smith. And it's very interesting because in 1908, this, I think, would have been the last section, or that section over there on the hill would have been the last section of this part of the cemetery. It was quite a bit smaller back then. The original section being over there, they call that section A Semaine, because the people that donated the land for the cemetery, their last name was Semaine. So there's A Semaine and there's a B Semaine over there. Pretty interesting. A lot of cool history in here. I've been telling some people this last couple days, a couple weeks now, really, that it would be cool, and I think I'm gonna try it, to come out here and just find a random headstone with random names on it, and do some research on those folks and write like a one-page story of everything that I can find on them. I think it would be kind of neat. And I'm thinking about maybe doing that, maybe, 2 or 3 folks over the entirety of the winter every month. So maybe that would be like a dozen people, maybe. It'd be kind of cool. And it seems feasible, So this coming spring, I've got some work I'm doing in Saginaw at the cemetery there. And then when I get done with that, I'm coming to this section here, the other side of this road. And we're going to do some work in here if we can get permission to do stuff. I know Ben, the sexton here, told me that as long as it's not crazy, I can pretty much do whatever I want. I'm not going to get any guff from him. These 2 headstones here, I cleaned. Me and my son actually cleaned them. Let's see, that was October, I think, as a presentation for the Genealogical Society here in Midland. And when I found them on Find a Grave, and you can probably look on Find a Grave for Daniel Hines and Sarah Hines, I thought they were gray marble like these here. These are their kids. I thought they were that. Oh, look at this. Underneath the leaves, shredded up flag. Tony Zampano, welcome. Nice to see you. And I want to thank you personally for the Christmas card you sent me. That was very kind. And I don't do too much of the Christmas card sending and stuff. Otherwise, I would have sent you back. But thank you very much for that. My kids loved it. And I think I still got it in my truck, actually. So it's very thoughtful. Yeah, so if you missed it, if you're just now getting in here, you'll have to watch this when it posts again, or when it posts later. The story of John Smith and Martha Smith and the dual funeral that was held here back in 1908. And look at this. We've had some pretty high winds here over the last 2 weeks or so, and it caused a lot of tree branches and stuff to fall down. And they've been cleaning up stuff over here. Looks like they got lots of mulch and these big logs. I mean, them are good sized oak logs there. You know, that's a 15, 16-inch diameter log there. So high winds, really high winds. There's a piece that broke off right there. Lots of damaging stuff. I haven't seen any damage yet. So this is one other thing I wanted to check on while I was here too. I'll show you guys this headstone. It's pretty cool. It's a little bit of a walk to get over there, so bear with me. Oh, and I should give you guys an update on Susan Allen. That one that I was working on. It looks great. It's getting a lot better. Hopefully you guys have time for a little walk today. It's cold out here, so I'm just spending a little bit of time outside. I think we're high of 31 and windy. So this tree here, I need to do some research on these folks, because I actually had a friend of mine, McDonald, that's the last name. I couldn't remember what the name of it was. But a friend of mine actually contacted me and said I should do a story on the people with the tree stump headstones at Old Hope, which is where I was at earlier this week, or actually late last week. I haven't been to work in a week, so I don't even know what day it is, hardly. But he said he thought that somebody told him that the father and all the kids had burned in a fire. And the family up in Hope that I know that has the tree stump headstones, I hadn't heard that story about them before, so I went up and checked on it, and they all have different death dates. And you see, well, Elizabeth and Agnes have different death dates also. So it may not be this family either, but I want to do some research on this family and figure out what caused them to die, I guess, and see up top how dirty it is up there. I think I sprayed like the front half of this with D2 a while back, like almost 2 years ago, and it looks really good up here. I couldn't get all the way up there. That thing's probably almost 15 feet tall. But this is the new section out here. I don't do much out there. Mostly all granite out there. This is one of the older sections here too. It's very interesting how this cemetery kind of grew. It didn't just grow in one direction. It kind of spanned out all different directions. Somewhat interesting to me anyways. How's everybody doing today anyhow? Is it cold and windy where you're at, or what's the temperature? Rub it in my face if you're 65 degrees or warmer right now. That's what I would love to have here. So right here is, you can see these 3 white ones right here. That's Susan Allen. That's the headstone that I started working on. I don't know, middle of the summer or so. I started work on that one also. I need to finish that up come spring, and I need to finish this one. I was hoping that some of that black would come out, and it's probably still will in the spring. The warm weather comes back, but that needs quite a bit of work done to it still, but it looks great. And it looks like it's cleaning up a little bit, even in the cold weather. So, been a long time since that one's been standing up. Pretty happy with that. And then looks like somebody's been digging on this one. This one, years ago, they epoxied it down, which not the best thing to do, but I guess for how thin of a tablet that is, that might even be set down in that concrete. I don't know, but yeah, yeah. I was just talking about that. I wanna do like a little I don't know, one-page story on some of these folks that I'm doing these stories on, and put it like in a 3-ring binder or something. I don't know if I would go so far as to publish it. Maybe I would make copies of it and give it to the Historical Society, but that's a fresh burial right there. Oh, I think I was here the other day when they were doing that. But 45 here in South Carolina, but yesterday was 70. Jeez. Yeah, that's the way it is here. I mean, we had 60 degrees the other day, and then the next day it was 30 or 35. It was a very drastic change. Yep. Okay, well, make a recorded online. Yeah, that's a good idea. 39C in Scotland. Let's see, 39C. If I can do math in my head. 39C, 39 times 1.8 plus 32 makes Fahrenheit. Somebody do that on a calculator. 39 times 1.8 plus 32. That'll tell you what it is in Fahrenheit. I believe that would be about what 70, 72, something like that. I think that could be way off, but I think it's somewhere around 75. Anyways, that's plenty warm. So around 4 degrees in Scotland. Wait, you said it's 39C. Oh, wait, hold on. Did I do that backwards? Going from Fahrenheit to Celsius. No, like 600 Fahrenheit is like 260 Celsius. So that's weird. It's around 4 degrees Fahrenheit. That's crazy. That is crazy. We're supposed to get, I guess, really cold tonight or tomorrow, which wouldn't surprise me because it's really chilly and you can see the overcast. And well, if it cleared up tonight, it'd be really cold. I don't know if it's going to or not. This is another really nice section out here. It's got some old stuff. I got some family in this section. You can actually, maybe you can see right over there is my 3rd great grandfather's headstone. But this is a neat one here. These log style headstones typically meant that a life was cut short. So 1861 to 1907, she was pretty young, 45, 46 maybe. Yeah. Pretty unusual. I guess in 1907 wouldn't have been terribly unusual to die at 45 or 46. But lots of interesting stuff out here. I challenge anyone that. Oh, look at here's a Marjorie Wilfong Frost Thurston. I wonder if she's related to me somehow. My last name is Frost. I'll have to look that name up and see what I can find. I think it's pretty cool if you have a historical society or a library or a genealogical society in your area. You should check and see if they have old newspapers, scans of old newspapers that you can look at. I can go on my library website and put my library card number in. Sorry, my nephew and his wife live in Finland too. Finland, I would love to live in Finland. Actually, that would be one place that I could probably move from Michigan in a heartbeat. But I love it here, so I really don't know. All these sticks. Yeah, see, we had lots of high wind in here. But if you've got a genealogical society or a historical society or something near you, check and see if they have. Hang on, I gotta set you guys down for a second so I can fix this for these people. Check and see if they have scans of old newspapers that you can index. That's a great way to learn about your family. You can, like I was able to index for my third great grandfather's name, and I was able to find all kinds of different stories about him and his wife and his kids and stuff. It was really cool, and I like doing that for a lot of these people, and that's where I find these stories of these accidental deaths and stuff is in those old newspapers. And there's actually a lot of times there's a lot of good information in those papers that you won't find anywhere else. The funny thing is a lot of people say that people didn't really drive around or move around a whole lot back then, but the funny thing is in between census years, you could have your family might have lived in one house, and then 4 years later, before the census, or maybe 2 years later or something like that, they're living in a different house, and there'd be no record that they were living in that first house other than that newspaper. And that newspaper can give you those little hints. It's really cool. So oh yeah, my mom just moved here, so I'm staying put. I do have a heart. Actually, I had an EKG the other day, and they verified I do have a heart. So yeah, I like to have a lot of fun. I like to do these unexpected accidental death stories. In fact, this one right here. This is Delilah Keener. I did a story on her. If you go back and watch some of those, I think I've uploaded 3 or 4 stories now on different people. It's really interesting, really, really interesting. So, oh yeah, and for those that didn't know, Deborah Guy, which she needs to change her name on here to Deborah Jones, that is my mother. So, just in case anybody was wondering. Yeah, look at this branch that blew out here. Lots of cleanup to do. I was out here the other day and talked to Ben, the sexton here, and he was picking up some brush and stuff. And they got rid of his winter help, or his help. They got rid of for the winter because, well, apparently, I guess they think he doesn't need him. So, one of these days I might come out here and give him a hand. But this right here is John Whipple. He Minnie, his wife right there, was Minnie Frost. That's Leonard Frost right there, that white one, the whitish gray one there. This is his daughter. She married John, and Minnie lived up north of town, not too far from where I live now. And John actually built a school, and I believe he paid like $75 to build the whole school, which was a lot of money back then. I don't remember what year it was, but somewhere right around the turn of the century, 1900 or so, anyhow. And that's a pretty interesting story too. And I believe that this is his second wife. It's buried right there. So, and then I'll take you over here and show you the Dowel family grave plot. And then after that, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Maybe I'll go pick my kids up and take them home. My son should be done with school right around then. So this right here is the Grace A. Dowel, Herbert Henry Dowel, Osborne Curtis Dowel, Helen Dow Hale, and William Hale graves. This is the Dow family. They're responsible for Dow Chemical, which is the company I worked for at the time. This is not, this is a different marker, but this is a very unique grave plot here. Alden B. Dow, and then this is Veda Bennett Dow. And Alden was an architect, and he's got quite the extravagant marker here. This marker was designed to look a lot like the buildings and structures that he designed. So it's kind of neat. There's a lot of houses around here that look very similar to this. Same kind of structure. And then right next to the Dowell plot is Murdy and George Gray. This is the Gray plot. And this is Olia Gray. And Olia was Olia Frost. She married Orville Gray here. And she is my third great grandfather's daughter. And I always think that it's rather interesting that somebody I'm related to, one of my relation, is buried only a few feet away from the Dow family, which is a very big and famous and well-known family around here. So, and then I'm gonna go over here because I've never been over to this specific area of the cemetery. As much time as I've spent over here, I really don't come over to this section a lot. Here's another Dow marker. Sorry if you guys are getting some wind. Yes, check out the videos I do where I clean and repair headstones. Okay, this is Willard and Herbert Henry II. That's why this is such a big plot over here. These look pretty good. They could probably use a little bit of D2, but Looks like somebody takes care of them pretty good. And this is the camp family, which I assume is probably the family of Dave Camp, which I think he's a state representative. Robert Donald Camp. He died just before I was born. And then this is the Doan family, Ruth Doan. Yeah. See, here in Midland, the Dowel family and the Doan family are really big, important people here. And very well-known families. They are the ones that basically, they didn't start Midland, but they made Midland what it is today. And this is a very unique bench. Almost looks like there probably was some kind of artwork or something here. This is like a frosted glass or something. Or not glass, but some kind of resin. There's something in there. I don't know what it is. Maybe a light. And this is kind of neat. Looks like there must have been a picture in there or something that probably faded since then. But this is all copper. That's the big thing. The Doans and the Dows, there's a lot of copper roofs on buildings around here and whatnot. And that says, I believe your first and finest responsibility and the way you can be of most service is through the development of your mind. Herbert Dow Ted Doan. Herbert Dow Doan. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, see, you even see like the intertwining of names, family names, you know, Herbert Henry Dow, and then you see Herbert Dow Doan. I mean, that's intertwining of families. And yeah, see, here's this says, on the pages of my heart, this prince of a man, my love, Junior. And I believe Junior Doan, I actually know a woman whose name is Junior Doan. I wonder if this is her father. Probably. Wow, this is a very neat marker here too. Very cool. I can't believe I've never come over this way to this section. So, huh. Then look at, here's another wadded up, shredded flag. Looks like maybe two flags there. Somebody's used them as a bird's nest or something. We'll make sure it gets taken care of. So, all right. Well, I drug this out a little bit longer than I had planned on, but it's fun to explore sometimes. Here's another Doan, Wendy K. Doan. Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe I need to come over this section. Oh wow, look at here's a man that got the Bronze Star Medal. Robert B. Whitaker, Corporal, U.S. Army, World War II. Bronze Star Medal. So many Bronze Star medalists and Purple Heart or Purple Heart winners. I guess hard to say winner. You didn't really win a Purple Heart. You got it though. From World War II, there's so much of that. The list is staggering if you were to look at the list. I looked at it just the other day, actually. Staggering. Yep. These things tip over all the time. This one's all bent up. I'm just going to stick this flag in the ground. That's another downside of wind. It doesn't just blow branches out, it blows flags all over the place too. So go get the kids. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go pick my kids up. And this is the skirt family. From what I understand, these might have been these two here. These two were moved from a different cemetery and then put here. I could be wrong on that. It might be whoever's buried in front of this marker, but I feel like it was these two. I know some of the secret family was moved, so pretty interesting. Hey, anyhow, okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. I've had fun walking around with you guys, showing you stuff. It's kind of cold out. Oh, these two stones here, 3 stones here. Me and my kids came over here and brushed those up a little bit for an old lady. She messaged me and asked me if I was ever out here and could find these, if I could just take pictures of them for her, because she was worried she was never going to get to see them again. So we loaded up the family and we came out with some water and some brushes one night, and we cleaned them up a little bit. And when the weather gets warm, I'm going to come out and do a full service on them. But we cleaned them up so that you could read them at least. They were terrible. And I took pictures of them and sent them to her. She was very grateful for that. She told me, she says, anytime you're ever out in the area and you want to stop by, you're welcome in my home. So I said, well, she's an older lady, and I think I probably will go and have a chat with her at least, see what she knows. Okay, I am going to let you guys go for sure this time. And I'll see you guys around on my next adventure. Psalm 24, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Alrighty, guys, have a good night. Have a Merry Christmas if I don't see any of you guys between now and then. Goodbye.